Welcome back to Bibliophiles Audiophiles, still in the ABC Challenge. So today we are doing the letter S. We are doing The Siren by Kiera Cass. It is available to listen to with Spotify Premium, but it's not available on Kindle Unlimited. The digital version is $10.99 on Amazon, which is crazy that it's that expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, so the description is as follows. Love is a risk worth taking. Years ago, Colin was rescued from drowning by the ocean. To repay her debt, she has served as a siren ever since, using her voice to lure countless strangers to their deaths. Though a single word from Colin can kill, she can't resist spending her days on land, watching ordinary people and longing for the day when she will be able to speak and laugh and live freely among them again. Colin is resigned to finishing her sentence in solitude until she meets a Kinley. Handsome, caring, and kind, a Kinley is everything Colin ever dreamed of. And though she can't talk to him, they soon forge a connection neither of them can deny, and Colin doesn't want to. Falling in love with a human breaks all of the ocean's rules, and if the ocean discovers Colin's feelings, she will be forced to leave a Kinley for good. But for the first time in a lifetime of following the rules, Colin is determined to follow her heart. So, content warnings are death, murder, child abuse, death of a parent, medical content, domestic abuse, child death, car accident, and physical abuse.
Reviews. Sorry.
Reviews. Reviews.
Okay. So Storygraph's average rating is a 3.51. The one-star review says that the longest, angstiest book I've ever read, and to this day I cannot say I'm glad to have both bought and read it. The rating is good, don't get me wrong, and I can see why someone else different from me would enjoy this kind of thing, but I am an empathic reader. Broody, angst-ridden protagonists kill me inside and make me carry their aches with me. So Colin was basically a sickness within me, something not very enjoyable over the Christmas weekend. So bad timing and bad empathy. All in all, I would like to be able to just do just like the Sirens do and forget.
Hmm.
And the 5-star I picked off of Stargraph says the ending was a little bit predictable, but in the best way. I still couldn't stop reading, even though I knew what was going to happen. I wanted to see it through. The concept of the story is so unique and well loved at the same time. I love the way the ocean was made to be human. I love the way the sisterhood was able to save the day. I love the way a pure of heart boy was accepting no matter what. And on Goodreads, the average rating is a 3.7. The 1-star I picked says, this book was lame. I listened to it on audio and considered DNFing at least 10 times. Major insta-love, flat writing, flat characters. The resolution was way too convenient. I did like the concept of the siren world and the ocean being personified. I think it would have been better if someone else wrote this book. I think I might be done with Kiera Cass. That hurts my heart a little bit. 5-star says, I cannot express how much I loved this book. Sweet, heartwarming. The Siren is a story about many different kinds of love. I cried happy and sad tears. Once again, Kiera Cass delivered a tale that kept me reading late into the night. I can't explain it. Her books are sirens of their own. This was also a review by an author on Goodreads, apparently.
By the author or a author?
A author, because underneath this user's name it says author.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of cool. And then Amazon is an average rating of 4.4 out of 5. The 1-star I picked says, terrible story. First off, sirens can't get hurt or sick, which the book says. By the end, she's dying of heartache. Stupid. The first release of The Siren was great. This book is a completely different story altogether. And then the 5-star says, Cass gives a world of emotion in this pretty package. The Siren is a fun way to lose yourself in someone else's journey. Learn compassion, sisterhood, and love at all costs. Living life for the ocean isn't the same as living for yourself. Make a choice, but you can't change your mind. I absolutely love their love story. It hurts so good. I love their experience and think every romantic soul would too. And that's that.
That's all she wrote.
That is all she wrote.
Are you ready to cue the man?
You mean Sir James?
The man of the hour.
The man of the hour of every hour of our lives.
I know, man, we sound like we're obsessed with him, and that's right, we are.
We are.
There's some spoilers coming up, sweetie. You better cover your ears.
Do you wanna start off, or do you want me to start off?
I could start because I'm the one that suggested this book.
I
because
know.
it's been on my TBR ever since it like came out because Kiera Cass is literally like Carla Swafford is like my adult author lover, you
Yeah.
know? Kiera Cass was my high school lover, author
Oh,
lover.
no, she's
Yeah.
just your regular high school lover.
Yeah.
We all know you're secretly gay.
Yeah. So yeah, so I fell in love with her book, The Selection, and I read that entire series. Like that series in and of itself, like I
Hmm.
read like when I first read that book, I was like, "Oh my God, I need the second book." When the second book came out, I read that in like a day. And I
Hmm.
did that with every other book in the rest of that series. So
I'm pretty sure I went ahead and bought all the books and like one like the selection series in one fell swoop
mm,
because of how highly you recommended it.
I loved that series so
It's really
much.
good. It's on my special bookshelf.
I'm gonna have to like reread that book at some or that series at some point in time. But anyways, that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about the Siren, which
Yes.
came out I think in the middle of when those series came out, or when that series came out, and it's been on my TBR since. Kiera Cass has my heart and always has, because she's like the reason why I got back into reading in high school, or why I
Hmm.
got into reading in the first place in high school. So like that's a very special place in my heart because she did that for me.
Hmm.
So I was like, we got to do her book.
Yeah, I still need to
Anyways,
read her Betrothed series.
yes, I read her, but
Like,
I've at this point in time, I have read every single book that Kiera Cass has ever written.
oh my goodness.
So like that's the first time I've ever done that with like any author. So this
Yeah,
is she's special to me.
she's special, special.
She's
And
special,
she
special.
writes really good. And I really like normally I like ever since you introduced me to the world of like smut, I prefer books that have it in it just because it like doesn't seem ch like I don't know, like now that I'm reading stuff like that, anything that's like young adult seems like childish to me. But like I didn't mind that with Kiera Cass's
Yeah.
writing. It was very like pure. Like I would recommend my 10-year-old sister read her books, honestly, because they're very like classy, I think is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, because
They're
it's
they're
like
very classy.
it's a good book for like a good romance story for anyone who's like
Hmm.
young adult or even maybe even a little bit
Even
younger than
old,
that.
yeah. Yeah, even younger.
But it's I don't know, like she's just got my heart. So like I
I
can gush about
know.
her. To talk about like the actual book itself.
Yeah, yeah. We need to stay on track. At least one of these
Um
episodes. That'd be nice.
yeah. So my next note though says live for 100 years plus another 60 something and having to kill people on top of that. Granted you'll forget it all, but still.
Hmm.
Like that's the whole premise. So like she saved Colin's life because she
Hmm.
was drowning and she was just like, please save me. And then she's
Yeah,
like, okay, well, you know what? I'll save you,
but
but you have to stay with me for 100 years. And at the time she was like 20. And so, after she serves her like 100 years, she still has to live like another
a
60 or
full
so
life.
years,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
like whatever the life expectancy is. And like, yeah, like she'll forget about everything. But like in those 100 years, she's like killing people
Yeah,
for the
exactly.
ocean.
And
Like
see, that makes
that's
me really sad because like she scrapbooks all the shipwrecks that they cause.
yeah,
So she can remember them. And I'm like, oh no, because she feels
that's
like it's her fault. I mean, it is her fault, but she's also like, oh my gosh, I feel really guilty. What can I do to ease the guilt? I'll scrapbook.
that's what I'm watching the show 911 right now,
Mhm.
and that's what the one main character Bobby is doing. Kind of like he's just writing a list of names of all the people he's
Hmm.
saved because it's part of like his trauma kind of like coping mechanism in and of itself,
Hmm.
because he didn't start it, like it wasn't his fault, it was an accident, but his space heater that he had caught fire in this apartment
Hmm.
building and it killed like a lot of people, including his wife and his kids.
Oh, I
So,
remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
yeah. So not only that he's a firefighter, well, actually, no, he was a firefighter, but like after he got moved and stuff like that, he's been like keeping track of every single person's lives he saved, kind of just to like, in a sense, even out the score because he's felt guilty about the fact that all these people died. So he is trying to like make up for the fact and try to save as many people as he's accidentally killed.
Hmm.
So I think for her, like doing that whole scrapbooking thing is kind of like a coping mechanism, just
It
like
is, yeah.
knowing who it was that whose life you like took away and stuff like that, I guess.
Hmm.
Which I think she said she like never got to every single person that was on the shipwreck like identified, except like I think one ship. which I forget the name of it, but I know it started with an A. I'm thinking Arcadia, but I don't think it's Arcadia.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember that one. So Colin sits at a college because she's like, oh, I'm gonna sit under the tree with a book so I can feel like normal, because these are people like, you know, prospectively in her age group, but not quite. Because like she's probably like, I think she was like 80 something years into her like sentence or whatever you want to call it, but she was still like 20, so she likes to sit at a college. And then there's this guy,
McKinley.
McKinley, that she had a
Oh,
crush on. And then didn't he like disappear and she was like really sad about it? And then I know she found him at a lighthouse later because like she got pissed off and like swam away from her sisters in Christ and she swam away. And then he was there and she was like, Bella,
where the hell you been, Loca?
where have you been, Loca?
I'm trying to remember. He did disappear. Was it him who disappeared or was it her that disappeared?
Maybe it was both because I know like the ocean found out or the sisters were like, dude, like they found out and they were like, dude, you can't do that because like the ocean is like jealous. Because I think the ocean was kind of like a mother to them, maybe like a jealous mother because she did
Like an
take care of them.
overbearing, like helicopter mom.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Very helicopter. I felt really bad because she was like falling in love with Kinley because like
Hmm.
he studied something, but like he knew dances from her time frame. And so like the one especially that stuck out was the jitterbug because that was her favorite. And so they danced the jitterbug together and I'm like, oh, I was like almost crying at that point because I'm like, oh, that's so sweet.
I don't think that was from her time frame or like her growing up, but that was something she learned at some point in time
Yeah, I don't
during.
know. I knew she was like super rich and then she was in a ship that sunk, but I don't remember like what time frame it was. I don't know if it
I
mentions it.
think, mm, I'm trying to remember when the present was in this book.
I
I
don't
think it was
know.
early like 1900s.
Yeah.
So like Jitterbug would have been like somewhere in like the 50s or 60s, I think.
Yeah.
But speaking of dancing,
Oh.
if it were me, right,
Mhm.
and I had to spend 100 years serving the ocean, I'd try to learn like every hobby possible.
I know, like just scrapbooking. That's it.
Like give
Piano, like obviously she knows singing.
instruments, art,
Yeah.
try to read every book.
Cooking.
I think she does read books though,
I
but
think I think
you
so. I
know,
know they went to a bookstore while she was there with him and he was like taking her sightseeing and stuff.
but like I would do everything that I possibly can.
Yeah.
Oh, I did write flirting with a Kinley is dangerous.
Was it dangerous? Like did it hurt her?
Not physically, but it's like she's
Oh, it
immortally
hurt her.
20, you know?
Yeah.
So like,
Oh, yeah. I have a question
yeah.
that really bothered me. I don't know why. Like some every once in a while, like logic tries to like barge its way into me when I'm reading. Wow, tries to barge its way into my mind, not me. That would be weird. Where do they get their money? Like they
Oh,
have a lot of money for like
um,
the house and stuff. Like, do they get that from like the shipwrecks or do they work?
they talked about that, I remember.
Did they?
Yes. I think they faked documents and stuff.
I never wrote a note about that, but that like was one of my earlier questions was like, where did they get their money from? To do all this stuff.
I'm pretty sure they like fake documents, and that's how they were able to like move around and like rent places. So they probably had maybe not like a dealer or something, but like something like that. But honestly, stealing from the ships like that makes sense, because like how else? Because I don't think they had jobs.
Hmm.
I mean, they couldn't talk, so there's not really a lot of jobs they could do that don't involve talking.
Yeah.
So, what was her name? She had Miyaka,
Adma was the newest one whose father
Padma.
tried to kill her and then tried to drown her. Like, wait, yeah, he abused her and then threw her off the boat trying to drown her, and the ocean saved her. Elizabeth and Mika are the younger sisters, and then Aisling was the older sister that aged out first in the
Okay,
book.
so Elizabeth was the one that was pretty.
Uptight.
Did you say uptight?
Was she not the one that was uptight?
I think she was, but I was gonna say more like that garden tool
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure
because
that was Elizabeth.
she was the one that was like partying all the time because they were both
Yep.
younger than her
Mm.
and she was doing hookups all the time and I'm like, why would you want to do hookups all the time?
If
I don't
it's
know, maybe
like
that's just me because like I'm like,
I mean, she can't get an STD and she can't get pregnant, so she's only getting benefits out of that?
yeah, but like I don't know, I guess it's just me where it's just like that's such a special thing for you to do and why would you want to do it with like a million people? But
Hmm.
then also like wouldn't you be afraid of catching feelings? Because like what if the guy you're dealing with is really cool?
Hmm.
You know, you want to exchange numbers, but also saliva and stuff. Like,
Hmm. Yeah.
I
Yeah. See, I don't
wonder.
understand how the ocean was mad about her liking Kinley, but I guess it's because she like loved him and was
Yeah,
like, I want to be with him. Yeah. Because like the
and
ocean did try to kill him. And
that's like
then,
unbearable heartbreak because like
yeah,
so like I don't know, like her sentence was like
the
I
ocean
think
gave
she
her
was
an
in
extra
like
50 years.
yeah, so like she had 70 years and then the ocean gave her another 50 years on top of that, so she was gonna do like 150 years or something of
Yeah.
service.
Yeah.
So by the time she's like free, and I mean she's gonna forget everything once her thing stops. But
Yeah.
like once she's free, he's gonna be like probably like set 70, 100.
Hmm.
Like he's basically gonna be dead.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I know like the ocean was mad and was like, I'm gonna add like 50 years to your sentence. And then like she spoke to him for some reason, I don't know, then he walked into the ocean because that's like that's what sirens do. Like they use their voice and you like commit suicide by ocean, right? And so the ocean was like pissed, like mad about it. The ocean was mad. And so she struck a deal and was like, I will not talk about him to you or to the sisters. That way you don't know about him, you know? And I
yep.
think the ocean was okay with that for a little bit. But like eventually got mad again because like didn't the ocean like think like just hear what they were thinking kind of deal? Like if you thought it, the ocean would know because you were in the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that's not gonna last, you know?
No, not at all. I was thinking while reading this that a Kinley was giving very strong golden retriever vibes.
Oh, golden, absolutely.
Yeah, he was just like,
Honestly, when I was, with Fantasia, you can't really like imagine things, but like it
yeah.
helps me if I have like an image of something that like I can be like, oh, I saw this one time, it reminds me of this. So
So
like,
you saw him as a dog.
no, I saw him as the human version of Shrek, like the sexy one.
Okay. I
I
thought
don't
he
know
was
why.
blonde.
He could honestly, he could have very well been, but like if I'm ever thinking of an attractive guy, my mind immediately jumps to sexy human Shrek. I don't know why. It just does that. I guess because like my childhood, everyone was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like in the movie, they're like, "Oh wow, he's hot! Like he's the hottest guy in the town." And so now I'm like, every time I'm reading a book, it's automatically sexy Shrek,
Just like how I picture the mayor of
the mayor of Lazy
Lazy
Town, the mayor of Lazy Town for every villain ever.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, the
Um,
ocean is the mayor of Lazy Town.
no,
Oh,
I mean I don't, but you know.
I know.
So I really do like this take on sirens. And
Yes.
then another note I did was that one of the ocean's rules when it came to taking people, and by people it's specifically females because she doesn't have men sirens because sirens are
Oh,
female.
no. Sirens are women. Men are ugly.
Sirens, yeah. But her rule was to take the daughters, not the wives and mothers, because
Exactly.
the whole thing with this is the reason why you like she was very overprotective over Colin when she was fa starting to try to attempt to not like attempt when she was starting to fall in love with a Kinley, and like the whole thing is like the reason why she doesn't take mothers and wives is because they're gonna spend that entire 100 years worth of servitude and just be like, woe is me. Which I mean, obviously I would too, because if I was like a mom or a wife and I got taken away from my husband and children, like
You would be like mournful.
I'd be pretty upset about that. And then after the fact, you're gonna get break free from everything and you're gonna forget them and everything.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
that's devastating. But yeah, I wanted to take a note of that.
Yeah. Couldn't imagine. Didn't Colin actually have a kid?
No, that was Aisling.
Aisling. Okay, I was gonna say one of them had a kid.
Aisling had a kid, and what she would do is when she kept to herself for a while, she on certain days would just disappear. She had her little hobbit hole or wherever she was
Hmm.
staying at, and she would check in on her daughter, who I
Yeah.
think her name was like Tora or Tova or something like that.
Hmm. I know the names in this book were like really weird.
They were. Yeah, that's for sure.
Very
Um,
oceany.
I think the only one that wasn't weird was like Elizabeth and Padma.
Yeah. Like those are completely normal, but the rest of them's kind of just like, okay, H2O, pop off.
Yeah. Um,
Clear,
but clear. So Aisling's daughter, right? So she would go in and check in on her and like keep up to date and like not like check in on her, but like watch her from a distance to see how her life is going, making sure that she's, living her life
And
and
happy, you know, like
being
content.
happy and content and all that stuff. And then after her daughter died, she went and would visit her grave.
Mm-hmm.
And she would check in on her granddaughter, I think is what she had.
Mm-hmm.
And she kept doing that. And then one of the last things that I think that she ended up doing is they ended up dropping her off in the area where her daughter was dead because she had to make like her own arrangements on like where she wanted to be
Mm-hmm.
afterwards. So I think she was in the city that her daughter was buried in.
Mm.
But
That's
that's
so
like,
sweet.
but that was a secret that she kept from the ocean. So the ocean had no idea that she was a mother,
Exactly.
which that's like a very big secret to keep for like 100
I
years.
know. That's so long.
And to be able to like not
Spill.
spill or like show off that, what do you call it?
Like, haha, I did it, you know.
No, I was gonna say like show off that like despair,
Oh, yeah. I guess
you
because
know?
like if she stayed constant in the kid's life, not like every day, but like every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's because she like kept away from the ocean during those
Yeah.
times when she would grieve,
Yeah.
because like if she's touching water, then she's connected.
The water knows, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Another thing, like on the note of like keeping things from the ocean, Padma wants revenge on her father, who tried, who abused her, then tried to dump her in the ocean. The ocean said no, but then they're like, okay, well, we're gonna do it anyways. Because Padma's like, well, I have to do it. Like, I cannot turn away from this. Like, I have to take care of it. I have to do something because it's not fair that he gets away with it. Colin's mad, right? But she's like, okay, I'm helping anyways because you're like my sisters, and she
Yep.
just doesn't want anyone to die. And so, like, I remember I don't know, I didn't write down how that went, and it's been a long time since I read the book, but I remember it did not go to
Yeah.
plan, and the ocean was pissed off about it.
And I think Colin's the one that decided to take the fault for that, and that's why the extra 50 years was taken
Hmm.
or tapped onto that
Yeah,
because they did
something
that.
about that. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I think they did that where they were helping Padma seek her revenge, but Colin took the fall for it all, and the ocean decided to add another 50 years to her sentence, which devastated her.
yeah,
And honestly, if it were me, I would just die at that point.
yeah. Just honestly, screw it.
Just good night.
But yeah, my next note is Colin drove to Maine to see a Kinley. I don't know why he was in Maine, but like he was there, and so she drove like 25 hours to see him.
Did she drive?
I wrote that she drove because I remember thinking like, where did she learn to drive a car?
Oh, they probably had to
No.
self-teach themselves or something.
Yeah, like it must be confusing if you got like flippers and then feet and then car, you know?
Yeah.
Like I've had feet my whole life and I still struggle driving and
Well,
I'm
I don't think
24.
I don't think they have flippers on land.
Well, no, but like how do you do you not think it'd be weird to go from like, H2O kind of vibes, like go from water to legs and then like try to use muscles the different ways?
Well, they were people before they became sirens.
Oh, you're right. You're so right about that. No, clear.
But I think she went with all the girls to Maine. Like she decided that,
Road trip.
you know, because look, what she did was like she wanted things to change every once in a while. She didn't want to just like stay put. So they'd have them
Yeah.
move around all the
I was gonna
time.
say, didn't they move around a little bit? Because
They
I
did
don't
a
think it really
lot,
mattered
apparently.
where they went because ocean's ocean, right?
Yeah, as long as they answered her call, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But she wanted them to go to Maine because for some reason she felt pulled to there, and apparently that's where Kinley was, I think.
Yeah. Do you think they were like mated or like bonded or like whatever you want to call it?
Honestly, they might have been.
Because like they both got sick at the end of the book.
I don't think it was like explicitly like they were like bonded, but I think it was just like their connection was like so powerful, like they were
Hmm.
like soulmates and such
Yeah, yeah.
that that's why. I think the other thing too, and this like connects like two, three, four of my notes
Uh-huh.
apparently. So she kisses a Kinley. It's
Yeah.
all sweet and stuff, and then she almost kills him because she talks, right?
Yeah.
And the ocean decides, oh, I'm gonna let a Kinley live, but this shit can't happen again. Or maybe that's the reason why she was the extra 50 years were added on is because
I think it was him. Yeah.
it was because she almost killed him.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, I'll let him live, but you have to stay with me another 50 years. That's what it was.
Yeah. You can't slip up. Don't tell your sisters, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So that happened. And I think because she made that deal with the ocean, because Colin,
Almost died.
well, not Colin, Kinley almost died,
Yeah, I can't. Yeah.
right?
I know. I kept
And
doing that.
When I was listening to it, I kept when she said Colin, I'm like, oh, Collin.
Exactly, because I've known a Colin and it was a guy. And then like a Kinley sounds like a girl name I guess because it ends with E. But
It I
no, I know it ends with I, but it ends with the E sound.
Yeah. So I like that though. It's different.
Yeah, I was like, once you got used to it, it's kind of like those are like unique names.
But McKinley,
Anyways,
so because McKinley almost died and it was her fault and stuff, and the ocean like let him live. I think within that process of her reviving him, it connected the two of them together.
yes,
So maybe like she took some of her immortal something and implanted
lifeblood or
it.
whatever you want to call it. Yeah,
Yeah, something to keep them alive, and that's the reason why they were connected. So
yeah,
that, she, the two of them got sick because one was upset, the other was upset. Like one sick, the other one's sick, and then the whole
exactly. Yeah,
hated thing. It's like that bond that Rye
rice, what
Bread
is it?
and
Rye bread,
Rye Bread and
resand,
yeah, Resand.
resand. I cannot get
Resand
over that. That's how
and
you
Feyre.
pronounce that. Yeah, Fey rat. Anyways, back to the book.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. So,
Um,
I know because like later in my notes, I said they slipped up and told the ocean, and I think that's when they were like, I think Padma may have been thinking about it or talked about it, and the ocean was like, "Excuse-moi," and she found out. And then like Colin almost drowned on one of their calls, or like the sinking of the ships is I think it was the
yeah.
call. Yeah. But yeah, she almost drowned and like her singing stopped and she was like choked. And then she started sinking and like drowning.
Was
And
it
that's when
because it was because she was sick?
I think so, yeah, because like right after that, my next note is like they both got sick. Like she's sick and then he's also sick. But apparently they were like, I don't remember exactly what they were dying from, but basically it was essentially because they couldn't be together.
It's called heartbreak syndrome.
It's heartbreak syndrome, honestly.
That's a
They,
real
sh
thing.
they should have drank like some ginger tea, just
Yep.
get over that real quick. No, I'm just
Yep.
kidding.
Yep. My heart ached a lot when she woke up and forgot everything.
I know.
That was just so sad because, like,
I
the
know.
ocean was pretty much just like the only way that, like, you can not be sick and die is if I release you from this sentence. So she did that. And they pretty much made plans and figured out where they were going to put her. And she woke up out of this curse and she's just like, who are you? Who am I? What's this?
Hmm.
And then they brought her to a Kinley's house. And then a Kinley saw her and then they like were both fine and dandy and healthy again.
Hmm.
And then my last note says, do you think Mika, Elizabeth, and Padma visit her from a distance just to like check in on her?
I couldn't see how they couldn't. Like honestly, because like they took her leftover years and then like split it between the three of them,
Yep.
so they could give her to a Kinley. Essentially, they were like, okay, well, the ocean's like, well, someone's got to pay the due, and then they were like, we got it. And so like, if it was me, I couldn't see how you could not like keep tabs on them after you basically just took on like what, not 15. Well, I don't know how many do math.
I think she had like 70 or so years left at that
Yeah.
point. So then you add another 50, so that would be like, so she went through 70, which means she had 30 years left, plus another
But
50 would give you like
yeah,
80,
like 80, yeah.
I think.
So
Because
that'd be like 25, 25, and
she was
25.
either at 70 or 80 years. So she either had 70 years or 80 years left of her sentence.
Yeah. That's so sweet that they like took
Just
it
took it.
among, yeah, like they split it up.
Well, that's what sisterhood is all about.
It was sisterhood. Not gonna lie, if you wanted some, I would take your years.
You would?
I would
I-
get that
I'd do
bag.
I'd do the same for you too.
Oh my goodness. Are we basically engaged? No,
I mean, we have matching rings,
we
so
do. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Anyways,
anyways.
what are your closing comments?
Do you want my rating or my comments first?
I think we normally do rating, don't we? No, we do comments. Wait,
Okay.
I don't know. I'm confused.
I think usually we do rating first.
Put me in a diaper and put me in a nursing home because, baby, I forgot.
All right. Let's just do rating first, I
Okay.
guess.
What did you rate it?
You'll never believe it.
What?
I rated it a 5 out of 5.
I already knew because I actually saw it when I was looking at the description.
Oh.
But I also rated it a 5 out of 5.
Ah. I love this book.
I know.
My comments are true star-crossed lovers. Kiera Cass always has my heart. I think this book is really underrated. Like a lot of people talk about
Yes.
the selection, and I think A Thousand Heartbeats by her was getting kind of popular because that came out within the last 2 years, I think.
Hmm.
But like this book, I don't think gets enough traction.
I don't think so either. Like, it's a really good book.
And then I also wrote Book Trophy for me.
Yes. Yeah, meow, meow, meow. Mine, I put
Mahoy
Mystic.
Manoy.
How I Minoy. I put my buzzwords are mystical, lovely, happily ever after, and then also put loved this read.
Yay.
Yay! And then yeah, that's all she wrote.
That is all she wrote.
That is all she wrote.
Hmm. Well,
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Bibliophiles Audio Files. If you care enough to actually let us know you're listening,
yep,
we have an email at biblioaudiopod@gmail.com, or
yep.
you can find us on Instagram.
At Biblio Audio Podcast.
I'm so glad you remember. It's really not that different. It's just
It's
four extra
really
letters.
not.
But every time I think our Instagram, I'm like,
What
oh,
is it?
what is it?
And then we also have a website, biblioaudiopod.com.
You think
Yeah.
we'd have this written down somewhere where we could
You
look at?
would think,
I
but
should do
no,
that.
apparently not.
Currently, it is February, but the next Summerton Book Fest is already scheduled for
October 11th.
October 11th, 2025. Their Facebook page, I believe, is just Summerton Book Fest. They have been teasing, saying that they're going to have a big update soon, and we
Oh, I'm so
don't know what it
excited.
is. I know, because they keep teasing us with like pictures of their notebook, being like, "Oh, all the plans are in here," and I am about ready to just drive down to Summerton and slap somebody upside the head because I got to have some answers. But as
Yep.
soon as we know anything about the location, we will begin promoting it more. But for
Yep.
now, just keep your calendar open because we will be there.
Because we're not squares.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh,
uh,
oh Lord. Okay, anyways, we will. No, I keep saying that. That's not the outro that I want.
no?
Lydia,
Are you
no.
sure?
You'll. No, because I'm like, we'll see you guys in the next one, but I want to end with you'll hear us in the next one because we can't see them. They can't see us, but they'll hear us. So I'm like, that's going to be the outro, but I forget it every single time because I'm so used to see you guys later, you know.
See you next time.
See you next time. What do we? We'll catch you guys on a flippity flip. You'll hear us. Shut up. You'll hear us in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.